What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. Happy first of the month. I mean, no need to wake up right now. It might be kind of late wherever you are, but we're live here on my channel. Tonight I had some thoughts. I had zero clue how I was going to start tonight because it's been a while since I've been live by myself, but I definitely could not let another day go by without some of these thoughts getting out into the ether because, well, I'm not saying that these conversations change anything, but I do think that they spark other conversations and those conversations might change something. So I didn't want to not do the things, right? It's Friday night. Like I said, it's the first of the month. Maybe you're busy. I can't knock you. Most of you guys are young and fun and doing the things in real life and not really existing on the internet. So shout out to y'all. I know that you will check this out on the playback if YouTube hasn't taken it down by then. But I haven't had a lot of success there because at least my most recent lives have been taken down by YouTube for reasons that don't really make any sense. For example, if I say, and I mean, I'm asking, what's going on, Spirit Wonder? I'm asking if I say, in my humble opinion, and then I say an opinion, and then I double down on it, in my humble opinion, this is how I feel. I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose anybody, on paper as much as I can have an opinion based off of how things are defined. And from there, well, I should be able to use the dictionary to have a conversation. But no, for whatever reason, doesn't seem to matter if I say in my humble opinion or not. If YouTube doesn't like what I've said, they're going to take my shit down. And then I have to start chopping and screwing the message. That's kind of messed up, right? What do you mean chopping and screwing the message? I mean, essentially, they're saying fuck the message. And if you didn't catch it live when we couldn't take it down right away, or we couldn't take it down while it was live, well, if she puts it back up, it's going to be chopped and screwed. You might miss all of what is being said because, again, I don't necessarily think that I'm doing anything as much as the conversations and thoughts you guys have shown me in real time that when we have certain conversations, things do change. So if I'm not able to have the conversation with y'all, are things going to change? I don't know, but I'm just Eve, right? I only have control over me. I guess I do have a little bit of control over the minis that we made, but that's a different conversation for another night. Tonight, get out or deal with it, nigga. No. Still haven't really landed on a thumbnail for the conversation, but this thumbnail from the past, are you a flea? Are you a founder? Are you something else? I think that it was very relevant for the conversation that I wanted to have tonight because tonight, definitions, I think it matters. And again, this is kind of all stemming from the fact that YouTube has taken down maybe 3 of my past 5 shows, and I haven't even been live every Friday as much as I want to. But life be life and shit happens. So when I am live, and I do think that it's a message that is going to do those things that I talked about, spark conversations so that people can have thoughts that maybe were put on the back burner. Maybe if people know that certain things are important to people, not just to them, but to people, it actually can ignite an ember. Maybe waking up isn't such a daunting task as much as a lot of people don't like doing work by themselves. I don't know. Is that you? Are you a person who doesn't like to do work by yourself? Because if you are, I think that's okay to be honest about it. It would be a lot easier to deal with a person who's honest about what type of work they're willing to do or how much work they're willing to do versus a person who lies about the things. If you've been around someone who says that they've done things, then you should be able to see those things. I am way, I'm way past telling Black people that they have to believe in order to achieve. As much as I do think that that type of metaphysical energy and thought can push you in a direction that maybe you didn't think possible, but without actual work, you can pray all you want. Shit might not ever actually change. So, what do you do? Do you get out or do you deal with it? I grew up in a time where people called America Babylon. I think we are in a time where people still call America Babylon, but that's neither here nor there, as much as some of you guys are very familiar with these stories that people grew up on, these stories of what happens when you're not doing what you're supposed to do. And depending on who you are and where you are, how this place or people break this one story down, you might have been acting in chaos. Maybe you were acting as an individual when you should have been acting with the group. Maybe it's selfish. Maybe it's the environment. I think that if we're honest, it might be a little bit of all of it. But Eve, that's a cop out. Can't you just identify where the problem's coming from and then try to figure it out from there? I think maybe we have. I think in a big way, Black America, in one form or another, has identified the problem. What's happened has been, well, if it's a problem that's going to kill me, like today, like right now, then yeah, I'm definitely going to do something about it. But if it's not going to kill me right now, then is it really a problem that I have? I feel like Black America is stuck on stupid here. But before we get any further into this show or my thoughts or anything that I have to say, these are just my opinions. YouTube, stop fucking with my channel. I don't know that I've ever said anything that said people should believe me because it's me. Maybe people can use their brains, their ability to look things up on this wonderful internet, this newfangled technology that is out there because of us. But I digress and move on to the fact that if you're able to do some research, to ask some questions, maybe you come up to the same conclusions. And if you do, are we in a situation where the people in charge are going to say, well, you guys are all wrong because it's not like that? And if that's the case, then fine, show us where it's wrong. Or are we people who say, okay, they said it's wrong, so, what were we thinking, right? Who were we to think that we could come up with something better than what these good white folks told us we could do? But as much as that tickles me to joke about, it's kind of saddening. I'm not defeated by it, but it does kind of make me sad that you niggas is so lost in life that you would appreciate people interrupting the wonder that is you. Had a conversation earlier today and this week, and divine timing has been the name of the game, at least for the past 10 months. Oh shit, 11 months. Hey, November, where you been? Do y'all remember a year ago? Last November? Do you remember November 2023? I do. It's kind of crazy because then December happens, then January happens, and then boom, you get big fat niggas who are freaky, who probably need to stay their asses inside. But they are so comfortable around these fleas that cause chaos, havoc, and just are active ops. I don't know how else to explain it or describe it, because people will say, well, if they're not getting a check from the government, are they the ops? What's the ops, y'all? Like, is ops opposition? Then yeah, that person or people or entity or system or whatever that we're talking about, that would be in opposition to Black America getting what's owed to us, because why else would there be any reason to disagree? Or maybe a better question is, If Black America all agrees that we have a problem, then why aren't we dealing with the problem? Maybe it's because you're a flea. Maybe you're a founder and you're just a little confused. You made it to 2024 by the grace of God, of course. And your ancestors did something. You might not know what because you haven't quite done that deep dive into your family story, but you're here in 2024, and that means that you would have had to have been there at some point in time. Because how do you get here if you haven't been there? Well, do you get to the next step doing the things that you've been doing, or would you have to do something else? Get out or deal with it. Around the world, Black people, scratch that. Around the world, people with melanin are dealing with interruptions, invasions, colonization, just a bunch of really crazy things. And I wonder if it's because they haven't had the same access to technology that we in America have had access to, but is it because the American Blacks found a way to use the resources in these other places that these other Blacks haven't found a way to have control over? Because if that's the case, then oh, are we in a pickle? What a fucking pickle. Places with lots of people with melanin who have the tangible resources that move the world, but the niggas who look like you have zero control over these resources. What is that? But maybe they've fled. If the people who are fighting, the people who rebel, the people who stand up against the bad stuff leave, then what happens to the land? What happens to the people who can't leave? I was having a conversation earlier today and just, for the past week and 10, 11 months, but niggas have gotten very comfortable. Black America is very comfortable. I'm not trying to say that people don't agree that we have problems. Of course we have problems. There's always going to be problems, but comfortable. That's strange to me. How can you be comfortable in a time or a land where people can kill you with impunity? How can you exist comfortably in a time or a period with other people, and if you decide to fight back, you could get the consequences of the person who's doing the harm against you? How strange, right? But I find that the founders have been asleep, and in their slumber, the fleas have tried to take over. And ain't that just grand, right? I mean, what do they say? When the cat's away, the mice will play. I don't know. I don't know if the saying's right. But essentially, I find that when people are not micromanaging the things that are theirs, there are people who will take advantage of that. They'll say, well, you're not paying attention to the shit. So who cares if I steal a little bit from here, steal a little bit from there? You're not going to notice. Not only do you exist in this place of abundance, no matter that the abundance comes from your hard work and resilience, but it's so good for you over there. Look at how good it is for them niggas over there in America. But when I get there, because we have the same type of genetics, well, you should give it to me too, right? Because ain't we all family? I left that family shit a long time ago because in my early years, I was very concerned. If we were taken from the continent, if we were stolen from Africa, why didn't them niggas try to come get us? Nobody could answer my question. I have had that question for so long. And no, I don't have it right now. But as a child, as a youth, as a young adult, as a person growing into the understanding that the system works just fine. But is that what you want? That's the understanding that I've grown into. And maybe people think that the system is broken. No, the system's not broken, you guys. The system The system works. Now, you want to talk about breaking the system? Well, I got time for that. But in the midst of people who have fled, people who are infected with fleas, people who, I don't know, couldn't do the things where they came from and decided that it was easier to take from other people who, I'm not saying people who wouldn't protect their stuff. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying people who are not worried about anything. Seems very easy. Seems like stealing candy from a baby because a baby's not worried about you being a threat. Because they're a fucking baby. Baby's worried about shit. Am I wet? Do I got shit on my ass? Am I hungry? And if those things are taken care of, well, shit, is it boring where I am? Are you giving me something to look at? Are you not? Maybe it's cold. Babies can't talk, right? But it gets very simple when you want to take something from someone who's unawares. What's the baby gonna do? She's gonna fucking cry. Now, some of y'all weird, sick fuckers out here, the baby was crying, so you shook that baby till its demise. There's a special place in hell for y'all. But maybe you're already there, and the fact that you have to live with some shit that you've done means that you don't get to sleep or something. I don't know. Maybe it means that you don't get to go past where you are, or I don't know. I try not to go into the karma conversation as much as just the math. And if the math supports something that sounds karmic, then who am I to say it's not, right? I'm just me. If you disagree, you're more than welcome to say so. But until we have any sort of disagreement, I'm going to keep going down this path of people who are here, who are from here, supposed to be here, a founder, if you will. Maybe you've been asleep for a little too long. Maybe you thought you woke up. Like, y'all ever had that dream? I guess it's kind of a nightmare, but you're dreaming and you know you're dreaming, so you wake yourself up. But you didn't actually wake yourself up at all. You just woke yourself up into another part of your dream. Has that ever happened to y'all? Because if it happens or has happened, or you can even picture or imagine that, then is it possible that reality could be similar? Like, you thought you woke up, but you really didn't wake up because it didn't really do anything. Your environment didn't really change as much as, yeah, you might be in a new spot, a new situation, but everything else is the same. The variables are the same. You can't quite run as fast as you could run, or maybe you can fly in this reality and shit. In reality, I can't quite fly. So what the fuck is going on? Oh shit, I'm asleep. Is it possible that we could just be there collectively, not individually? Because I know some of y'all have done the root work. Some of y'all have done the hard things. Some of you are like eagles. It's a couple videos I'm gonna try to play. YouTube, please, for educational purposes, let me play my shit, and then just let me play my shit. I'm not even getting paid from y'all, so don't take my shit down. But if you do, that's okay. Black America has been doing the hard thing for a long time, and I wonder if there's an easier way. Tonight, on the 1st of November, I wanted to talk about the get out aspect, or the deal with it aspect, because Black America, at least online, has been talking a lot of shit to people who are here, to people who have fled, about where they need to go, what they need to be doing. And while this is not a horror story, if you wanted that, you should have done something yesterday for that trick or treat type of holiday. But if you want the truth, at least what I believe to be the truth, well, it's kind of insane what we have accepted in the guise of, well, we know. Of course we know, but it's not anything we need to do anything about, except for when we say we need to do something about it. You guys are going to have to get very uncomfortable, because the things that you don't even think matter, that have been lies on lies on lies, probably rule how you make decisions. Let's say you didn't get a lot of lies growing up, your parents were on their shit, shout out to them, but it doesn't mean that there weren't outside influences. Earlier this week, I met with our good brother, Dr. Winters, for Reality Check, and we talked about parenting being a program. And my thought is that if you don't do the programming on the minis that you've brought into this world, then society will do the programming. If your child can't exist in silence without singing some song or going to some repetitious activity that they've done that isn't productive as much as it's time wasting, what are you doing as a parent? But I'm not here to shit on your efforts as much as I am here to let you know that I know that this shit is hard, but you're going to have to get out or deal with it. And it's too many people saying that they understand the problems that we have as Black Americans that aren't actually doing anything. So, no, don't get it twisted. I'm not here to tell you what to do. But, however, in contrast, no, what I am saying is that if you talk like this and then you're still very confused about why things aren't happening the way that you believe them, well, that you believe that they're supposed to happen, then maybe you're not seeing something. Maybe you need a recalibration. Maybe you need to go back to the formula or the equation. And I hope you use pencil, because some of y'all are so confident that you do math and pen, and when it's time to erase something, you gotta use a whole new piece of paper out here, right? Even with this newfangled technology we got. Shout out to the room. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. If you like what we're talking about, you got the like button down there for you. It's a thumb, but it's pointed in the up direction. You can hit that. But for a moment, check this out from our good brother Yoshi. Math. Does the math? Or are y'all on some other shit? And if you are on some other shit, just be honest about it, right? Because when you're honest about where you are, people won't expect things from you. But if you start saying that I know how to fly planes, and everybody on the plane knows that you're the one who said that you can fly planes, well, shit, if something happens to the pilot, they're coming for you. And some of y'all will ride that shit to the damn grave. You and everybody on that plane is going down, because they're not going to ever find out that you actually can't fly planes, that you've never actually been in the cockpit. Is that what it's called? The cockpit? I don't know. You've never flown a plane. Yeah, you might have played some video games, but application, it matters. You read the book one time when you were bored during the experiments of 2020, so you do have some information to support the things that you would do if given the opportunity. But have you actually done it? No. But do you let people know? No. Because why would you? Well, I think you should if you're talking about life and death situations, but that's just me. I know, just Eve. So
religion is not for black folks, only the truth. Don't let the non-believer distract me from you. No UFO, only for you by you. No UFO, only for you by you. I'm in even no need for religion. Catholic, Christian, church of a business. Folks just made to hide our origin. Therefore, Yoshi reborn again. Back in the day, I was known as Kala. These folks don't respect their father, so I send them back to the waters of none. We made it through the Mahapa. My ancestors call out war. You seen I saw. Small legs now, giant chainsaw. NTR, nectar. You must protect harder. Undefeatable, resilient frequency in this universe is them against you and me. I am one with the first frequency. I am one with the first idea. I am one with the firstborn people. I am one with the only one. Ashe, and so it is. You are the thinker that makes the thought a thing. Meditate and come chill amongst kings and queens. America has failed after rejecting, betrayed, and jailed. Too quick, too soon, too often. Toxic stress take you to the coffin. Intergenerational trauma made us have sex with our own fucking mama. That's cruel, creepy. They used to beat me, hate me, rape me, cook me up and eat me. Use me as a sacrifice. Mighty parts and souvenirs that ain't right. It's all because they heard of who we are. Hitler and Einstein knew we was God. I equals mental evasion. Pick up the Niger for this equation. Tragic, I'm a equals zero. Equals zero. Equals zero. At the end of the physical, I am the hero. Spiritual essence equals zero. I never change, remain the same. My respect for nature and my brain. The Black American experience is the most traumatizing experience that any other human has ever experienced. PTSS, RBT, SIV, B68, HF, and RBF. Racial battle fatigue. How many times was my family wept because they can't see? Slaughter us on camera, offer us help. And I see us saying, Master help. Imposter syndrome, their nature. They never wanted to make us, wanted our wealth. Lazy, pathetic, inbred. Criminals, murderers, half dead. Straight out the ice age on another masquerade. With one purpose to divide and conquer. Most of us come from a sunken place. Shadow work will return us back in shape. Back then, even now, they still a best. And I upgraded and I remain the best of best. Can't keep us from thinking. On the cool, we let they ship sinking. No religion, sex addiction, food addiction, dip addiction, substance, self-help addiction. We're trying to feel and what's missing. Our history, or maybe I'm tripping. All I know is that boy Jesus was fishing. If it ain't, then call him Haru. If it ain't said again, it's Haru. I know who I am, so who are you? The box that carved in stone came true. Scientific facts not made up like you. White folks was invented as a matter of law. Divide and conquer humanity. Protect and ensure the interests of the 1%. Trauma bonded, loyal to a person who's destructive. Kill anything who disrupted. Kill us, defeat us, slash us in public. Behind closed doors, he was kissing and hugging. And if a baby come born into slavery, till his days are done. Mixed breed, born to be dumb. Rape me just for fun. Rape me just to come. Pleasure Island. You wonder why you men ain't feminine. They used to butt break the biggest and baddest men. Well known all over the islands. Queerish ways got you acting childish. Correct me if I'm wrong and I'm lying. Babies don't come out of butts while you trying. I can't think of a reason to try it. Like cigarettes, you force yourself to like it. Chosen color men who study alchemy. Understand this is not African history. This is something created with crossbreeding. Neanderthal ways, their species. Even the 8 folks who came from trees. Walking upright, everybody full of fleas. Understood I am for you and you for me. I'm a the track, that's coming back. That's it. My time on earth can't quit. 919, I am lit. Nigga drop said fine, that's lit. Create life, no artificial mix. Men getting pregnant shouldn't exist. No offense to other races, but this is for my ancient Egyptians. Oh.
God came out and said, well, before a blessing comes out, you gotta taste, some difficulty so you can appreciate the blessing. After that experience, you will be renamed as the chosen race. So what God did was reveal this God order called Gaga.
what's going on? Thank y'all for your patience and joining me for that bop. Shout out to Yoshi. Yoshi Mod, the genius. He's definitely doing some spiritual work on these demons that are infiltrating our spaces. I really like the messaging of his music. He is not the only one making conscious music, but he is definitely one of the only ones that my children will actually ask to listen to. You know, they want to sing I'm Blunt, and then they want to say it with their chest. I'm just so proud that they're comfortable. Look, this is way off of this subject, but not really. Our oldest boy, Minnie, number 2, we held a little pull up, a little rally of sorts in Richmond a couple years back, and we had the little microphone, the little boom box thing to make our voices loud and proud and let people know what's going on. Let people know, hey, we are actually out here in the public educating people about our struggle, our plight, our debt, and hey, don't give up hope, right? Because look, you might not have thought that it's going to happen in your lifetime, but look at it happening in your lifetime. Our oldest boy, Minnie, got on the megaphone and with very big conviction at his very little age, told everybody within earshot that Black Lives Matter. And he did not say it with his hands up, don't shoot me. No, that wasn't that type of Black Lives Matter. It was more like people were honking and telling us that we need to move on. There were Black people telling us that we need to move on. Not all of the people who came across us that day told us to get on with our lives, get a job. You niggas is so lazy, you should just go get a job. That's not how the general public received us that day. But to the people who had something negative to say, well, our oldest boy, Minnie, had something to tell them. And I can only say that it is because we are fighting a battle that is way bigger than us. And sometimes when we're a little closer to the origins, closer to our origins, we might understand it easier. It gets very confusing when you start adding into the fact that you don't have time to do any research. You don't have time to get to these places. You don't have time to wipe your ass. So you deal with it. You don't get out. Why don't you get out? Well, you're a Black American, of course, and our story is not a story of fleeing. It's a story of fighting. If you are unfamiliar with how many times we fought back during our enslavement here in America, well, you might know of 3. The main 3 that they speak of, 2 of them never even got past go. One of them, shout out to Nat Turner and the Black Americans of the Dismal Swamp, the marooned Blacks of Virginia, and all of the people who stood up to injustice here in Virginia. They ate that nigga. So I'm sorry, even though he was able to do some things, they still was able to flush him out and eat him. So in the grand scheme of things, 3 that they talk about, I don't know that they're 3 symbols of, well, why would we be so afraid to fight back type of symbols unless there's a reason why we only know about these 3. If you listen to Dr. Winters, he's live on Thursdays with an educational show of sorts where he talks about things that's happened in the past, because if you are a student of history, if you do want to make changes, then you would have to accept that not studying the past means you are bound to repeat it, whatever it is. And a lot of times it's the really bad stuff that we don't want to repeat, that people don't want to deal with. So, oh no, here we are dealing with the same shit we were dealing with 500 years ago. What do? well, you could get out, right? We've got continental cousins. We've got our cousins from by the beach and coconuts. We've got cousins from all around the world who come here and say, oh shit, you niggas haven't actually been fucked out of existence. You have been able to stand up for yourselves. You've been able to kind of get in there. Why do I say that? Because, well, the way that your country reports on things, it sounds like y'all got some money. And not even the reporting, but we've seen some of you out and about in our homelands, traveling. Traveling. You can travel. You're not on the hamster wheel because you've got things. Look at you on the TV. Look at Michael Jordan. Look at whoever the fuck. Look at that Black American doing those things. I want to be just like Mike, right? And I'm not saying that here in America there wasn't niggas who say they want to be just like Mike, because there were and still are probably. But the idol worship thing, that's a superficial, you know? People come over here because they understand that they are going to be put in an environment with people who have not stopped fighting back. And because the fight has been against people who look different, we are unawares and almost soft targets when people come around us who look like us but don't have the same interests or alignment or frequency. So, shout out to Yoshi for doing some recalibrating and putting some different energy in the ethers. Had to make sure I played that tonight because I thought it was relevant to the conversation, because get out or deal with it. Tonight I wanted to talk about the takeover, but I feel like I've already used that title so many times. So let's not beat a dead horse. Let's just talk about what it is. What is it, Eve? All right, you guys. Don't be mad. But we've been tricked. I know. It's okay. Because as long as you are comfortable accepting that, yeah, you're so smart, you're so intelligent, you're so resilient, you're so freaking amazing that people copy you and do you even when you can't do you, but you've still been tricked. Once you accept that, then maybe you want to do something about being tricked. Well, the trick bag is in the language, of course. Black people said that civil rights, that is like the 50s and the 60s, like up until the 70s. I want to say 68. I think that's when Dr. King died or was murdered. Not died. 68, Dr. King was murdered, or Malcolm was murdered. Hold on. Dr. King, right. He was murdered April 4th, 1968. So civil rights as we know it is a solution to the problem that Black America has said out loud we have. But did it ever really solve anything? Tonight I kind of wanted to deep dive really quick into what that is. What am I talking about? Why are we still looking at the same shit? And can we do something about it? Or do you need to get out? Or are you going to deal with it? But dealing with it, that doesn't mean that you're doing the right thing either. I'm not here to tell you what to do. But if you wanted some Eve opinion about what I think might need to happen, especially if you're saying that there are problems out here, if we're agreeing on these problems, maybe, just maybe, if we stay, we don't have to deal with it either. We can do something about it. But is it going to take everybody? Do we have the strength or resilience or fortitude or grace given to each other to figure it out? Or is it because we haven't figured it out that nobody will listen to anybody about what needs to be done, because everybody has their own idea about how to deal with it? way back in the day, before any of us were here, 1800s, right? So we're talking a few hundred years ago, and it matters. I don't mean to go back so far, but let's just go there. In the 1800s, right? Well, 1865 is when the Civil War happened. So everybody should know that by now. But if you didn't, now you do. Before the Civil War, women of the non-melanin persuasion were looking to get some rights. And everybody has had a debate about why these women were looking to get rights. I believe that it's because they understood that times were changing and Black people on this landmass were not going to stand for this too much longer, right? Inside of that, well, instead of giving everybody equal rights, we want to jump the line and get rights for ourselves, because not only do we look like them men who have control over the resources, tangibles, and benefits, but we birthed these fuckers, so they should definitely give us what we're asking for, because we're not asking for everything. We just want what is ours. Now, Black women, if you ever sided with feminism because you thought that there was a fight between you and your man, I would say that you are wrong. I would say that you have unknowingly, I hope, sided with them people against yourself. It's suicide. Their culture is suicide. Anything that you do that perpetuates this self-destruction would be you identifying with your abuser, with your captor, with the person or people or entities that don't fuck with you and want to kill you. As it stands, we exist in a time where they can do that very thing with no consequences. Not really. I mean, yes, oh, the niggas had something to say when George Floyd was murdered, and oh, sometimes the niggas get a little bit rowdy, but as long as we do the things, then they won't actually do anything about these things that they say they have issues with. I know, Eve, it's so easy to talk about this shit. It's so easier said than done, right? Yes. Easier said than done, of course. But imagine doing something that you thought was hard, but is pretty easy. I mean, it could be as simple as living in a house with stairs when you've been used to living in a house that doesn't have any levels, or going the opposite way, living in a house with levels and then moving to a house that doesn't have any stairs. Is it something you'll get used to? Sure. Is it something that you like? Who knows? But is it something that you can deal with? Absolutely. Black America has this issue where we know that most of the things that we've been dealing with for these hundreds of years of interruption are things that we can deal with it. It's not gonna kill us. We come from people who survived eating nothing, or eating dookie noodles, or eating pieces of animals that aren't necessarily edible, but it didn't quite kill you. We come from people who've been able to discover different uses for many different things that nature provides, but because of the system that we live in, we have to deal with the fact that they have been able to take and take and take. And at a certain point, you're just giving it to them if you continue to create for a system that isn't giving you any credit. But Eve, why are you being so proud? You're so ego driven. All right, I feel you. You know, it's not about ego. It's not about, making sure that everybody knows that Eve is the one who did this. No, it's not that. But if you have someone lying on the plane, like I told you earlier, I mean, I'm sorry. I personally do not want to be on an airplane with a person who's done told every person on that plane that they know how to fly planes. Because in the event we need that motherfucker to fly the goddamn plane and they were lying, I'm going to kick that bitch off the plane. Me, personally, Eve, will take my hands and put them around that person And I guess if I open the door, we both going out that bitch. I don't know, but I would be so upset to be on that plane with that person who talked that proudly and boldly and unapologetically about being able to do the things. And when it's time for doing the things, that fucker can't do shit but look around for someone who can do some things. That's just me. Across the world, you've got people who don't want to do anything about their actual problem because it's easier to deal with it. How do you deal with it if you're not there? Well, that's exactly how you deal with it. You just leave. Shit, you can fucking flee. Bye. I don't have to deal with these people taking my shit over here. I don't have to deal with doo-doo cakes and mud baths and piss showers from the livestock. Don't have to deal with people who don't want my daughter to learn things. Because I'm going to take my ass to America. Because them niggas over there, them bitches get to learn stuff. They get to say no. Oh my God. Can you imagine being able to say no? What the right? And maybe you think that's funny. I'm not joking. I'm being dead ass serious in a country where you can get your head lopped off just like that, right? She said, no, she's not trying to do those things tonight. She's tired, her cycle, whatever. She got a stomach ache. She ate a lot today and she got the boops. I don't know what it is, but she said she's not feeling it tonight. And her husband said, what do you mean? And society said, you're not doing the things and you better fix that shit right now because fuck if you thought she was about to infect the women around you. Not gonna do the things. Bitch, if you don't get in that kitchen and cook me some curry rice with beans and goat tail, I don't know. I'm sorry. I think those people would probably be mad if somebody washed their greens in the bathroom too, but that's just another thought that I have about different things tonight. Get out or deal with it. I feel like the founders have been asleep for so long that they thought they woke up because, well, what could be worse than what they were living? Chains are gone now. Of course we woke up. We can go to work and make money. Of course we woke up. I can go fuck up Brad and make a little brown baby. Of course we woke up. What? It's almost like people don't understand how long we've been here. And if that's the case, then I can deal with that. Really. Because once you learn the truth, then I would expect that if you still feel the same things that you felt before you knew what the fuck was going on, that you would actually be a person to do something about it. But maybe it's deeper than that. Mr. Fuller tells us that we are in a system that is designed to confuse us, almost to the extent that Christians tell other people that the devil is beautiful. Lucifer was the man, angel, man, non-man, angel. Beautiful motherfucker, right? The most beautiful angel that ever was angeled, right? And then that nigga ends up being the devil. What happened? Y'all ever ask what happened? And if what happened was that Lucifer, the angel, said, why? And the response was, because I said so. I mean, y'all don't have that story in your own story? You've never asked why and someone said, because I said so? Lucifer's only real problem was that, according to them, God said, hey, you're not actually the chosen people. Yeah, you can do these things. You are cool as fuck. Everybody likes you. Look at how pretty you are. But it's not you. You're not him. Shout out to my fourth graders. But you are something. You are important. People do need you. I do need you to do this thing, this task. You are designed with a purpose. But if the story is how I remember, because it has been a minute since I've read some of these stories. So, give me some latitude here, you guys. But the story is how I remember. Then Lucifer being as cool as he was, it is almost like a A mind fuck. If I'm able to do these things, why can't I do these other things? If you like me so much, why can't I have access? If this is like this because I had something to do with it, then why won't you give me more? Again, if the answer was because I said so, then would someone, anything, want to do more than what they've been doing? I don't know. Maybe they'd want to get out. Maybe that is the story of Lucifer. This Nick tried to get out and got called the bad guy for forever. Forever. Right? On Sandlight type shit. But that's only if you're able to use your imagination with some of these stories that they have beat into our elders and maybe into you. I never understood how some people could say that the Bible is full of stories that are allegory, things that didn't quite happen that way, but they are used and supposed to be to learn from. But no learning is really happening. Those same people will say that it is basic instructions before leaving the earth, and that just sounds like a bunch of shit, right? Like, you need to do all these things now because later, when you're not here and I can't show you any evidence of later, but later you won't get some shit because later you better work your ass off. Now, though, because now, well, now is now. But if now is 2024 and Black America hasn't gotten what's owed to us because of all of this work that people said that we would benefit from later, I can't use that story anymore. It sounds like I would want to do something about that. There is no deal with it unless the deal with it means do something about it. But most people, when they deal with something, they're just allowing it to exist. They're just dealing with it. You know, we're not doing anything, but we're existing. We're coping. It's cool. In the 1800s, when white women said they needed some form of power on paper because they might have had some insight into the niggas getting some power on paper, well, 20 years later, the country went to war about it. Well, about the blacks, right? After that, Black men got the ability to vote and were elected to public office, which is really cool, right? But if we were elected to public office right after we were not allowed to make any decisions, then what's the significance of these people in these places that are supposed to be able to do these things for the people that voted for them to be there? Now, don't get me wrong, I understand that in 1877, right, we've got all sorts of KKK, Jim Crow, Black codes, and lots of different obstacles for Black America to deal with, even if you were voted by the people, right? Let's jump to 2024. We've got a woman running for office that the people did not want to be their representative, but they said, nah, you can get out or you can deal with it. And then they said, well, at least it's not the white racist, so we'll deal with it. But that's a problem. It's a problem because the takeover that happened so long ago, the takeover that people say, well, we've come so far since, you know, our ancestors were in bondage. We've done so many things since we were let off of the chains. Well, we just need to just deal with it a little bit longer, right? But didn't y'all hear that when the first quote, quote, Black man became president, right? Give him 4 years because he can't quite do anything, but give him another 4 years because when he can do something, well, he's not going to because he can't quite do anything specifically for one group of people. The next time in modern history, someone with melanin runs for presidency from these groups that people have said, all right, y'all are the top dogs. Who you got for us? And so we got this brown woman who's married to a white guy, doesn't have any kids, but, you know, she'll do whatever we say do. That's who you want. And then people said, I don't know. You know what? What's her track record? What's she been able to do? And when the track record comes up blank, people start name calling. Well, you don't want to vote for her because you're a sexist. You don't want to vote for her because you're a racist. Well, I'm a woman and I'm black, so what about me? Am I sexist against females? Am I a racist? No, I'm not. And neither are you if you actually had a question that never got answered during this election season or during this entire process because, well, the right to vote because of access to things, that's always been a struggle for people here after the conceptualization of America. But now that we're here, now that we are existing in this country that does the things the way that it does, you would have to agree that the problems that we're saying are problems are not really problems. Or when you are faced with a hard decision to make, that you are comfortable saying you're not ready. But to be in a time where the dictionary changes every year, to exist in a time where we've allowed certain problems to just fester, and what used to be don't ask, don't tell has now turned into, if I can't put my spouse on my desk at work, then you are discriminating against me. And the discrimination is based off of how I want to have sex, of course. But never mind the fact that the discrimination that niggas was fighting for had everything to do with our accesses to resources and the ability to choose things on our own. Never mind that. No, in 2024 and before that, we've been fighting this very weird and unnatural fight of what goes on in the bedroom, what happens in the bedroom, needing to be displayed on your mantle, on your desktop, on your shoulder for the world to see. Because, why not? You're unapologetic about you, and you're original, and you're unique, and you are just, well, you're special. And I'm not saying you're not special, but I am saying that there's too many people saying that we got these problems, but they won't get out. If you think that America's got an issue, then maybe America's not for you, Get out. There's too many times I get on these platforms and I see people who have zero ties to the land, who might have come over here in the past 2 decades saying, look at how racist America is, and America this, and America's got a homelessness problem, and America's got a problem with. But then you look at where they come from, and, well, might have been a place where bitches get their heads lopped off for saying no. I learned about what was going on in Sudan earlier in the week. There are women killing themselves because the rape is out of this world. So they said, fuck that, I'm gone. And I don't think that that's Black America's story at all, as much as I do think that we can empathize with people who don't want to deal with it anymore. We can empathize or sympathize with people who had to get out, and those people didn't flee here. They took themselves out. And I don't think that that's good, but I think I can understand what's going on. Too many people who can do something about the things have fled. And the people who are left there, the people who have no resources or ability to get out, the people who can fight back but don't have enough to do anything with the fight back, they get fucked. And I mean, they get fucked. Little babies are getting fucked. Shit is crazy. I saw a picture of bodies, babies and women, naked and clothed, all sorts of burnt up, and it kind of made me sick because it was like, damn, They don't give a shit, but that's that suicide mentality that I said we've been infected with. And if you don't want to get out and you don't want to deal with it, well, I offer you another option. Do something about it. If you do something about it, well, maybe things change. But if you've resulted and confined yourself to just dealing with it because it's not affecting you right this second, well, you will be people that I will have to blame for why the definition for gay in the dictionary has changed from happy to how someone likes to get down in the bedroom. Got some homework for y'all tonight. Tonight, take your dictionary. Do you got a dictionary? I hope you do. If you have a dictionary, and I'm not talking about Webster's.com, I'm not talking about dictionary.com, I'm talking about an actual factual paper dictionary. If you don't have one, go to the library. If you have one of those still in your area, look up the word gay. Come back to the comments and let me know what it says. The primary definition is going to relate to how someone gets down in the bedroom. The definition for gay changed in 1953. The civil rights movement was 1954. All of the shit is related, you guys. And if you don't want to do something about it, I think it might be easier for the people who are here who do want to do something about it, then maybe you just get the fuck on. Respectfully. Maybe you don't want to fight. But I'll be damned if America turns into Haiti 2.0, where half the niggas is saying we want oppression and the other half of the niggas is saying fuck that. And the niggas who say fuck that get resulted and squared off into the worst parts of the country and cut off from the rest of the world. No. But if you've never studied history, then maybe you don't even know that after you win, there's more work to be done. And to that, I'm going to have to bid y'all adieu. I hope you enjoyed what I had to say tonight. And by enjoy, I don't mean like, oh, this was so good. I feel so good inside, Eve. Thank you for sharing this message with me. No. But I do hope you feel good knowing that you're not alone. There's a bunch of people out here who do want to do something about these things that people have said are problems, but maybe they've been stuck around people talking about the problem. Being able to identify what's wrong is cool. Being able to do something about the problem, that might be the move. Till next time, y'all have a good night.
You can do this, but you don't know who you are. I know who you are. You're gone. You quit. We won't see you again. Ha, ha, ha.
Remember, you heard it right here. Detecto Rizzo Mac. Peace.